one of the first things that I noticed about the church was when you first enter the building. There is a feeling of warmth and joy and friendliness. And that doesn't always happen when you go into a place of worship and you think, come in the right door, So having that feeling when the very first time we came was just a great start. And Pastor preached an awesome sermon. But one of the things that he has said on numerous occasions is in reference to tithing. Now, I had been told at other churches you need to tithe 10%. And Malachi 3:8 was the only verse I thought that referred to tithing. But I found out that that's not true. And not only is it a 10%, but then Pastor explained why it's a 10%. It's obedience to God, not just giving 10%. So, having been in church most of my life, that was like a revelation, like, where has this been all my life? But no other pastor had ever defined it. They just said, you need to get 10%, it's in Malachi 3:8, and that was it. And I was doing that, but now I'm doing it, and I know why I'm doing it, and that makes a big difference. Coming to this church, I should say, was a whole new experience in that other churches that I belonged to, we were involved a lot, constantly, and I felt guilty if I couldn't make a meeting or I couldn't do this and couldn't do that, but I was doing a lot in just church in addition to working in the rest of my life. So being able to come to church and receive a message and there be a function and me not have to go and help and stay until the end and help clean up, it was just wonderful to have a church that's so organized. So I thank my pastors for them being them and having everything being so organized. That has to be something that they initiated. So they are doing an excellent job on keeping the church as it should be, where everybody is involved and everybody is important.
Well, one of the other things that I just love, and actually I think I told Pastor this too, is that I just love the way he just stands flat-footed and tells the truth. He just tells the truth, and we're living in an era now where it shouldn't be, but the truth is actually some kind of special event when somebody tells the truth. And he told the truth about the George Floyd accident, incident, murder, whatever you want to call it. But you can see that he was definitely moved by that. But that wasn't the first time he had addressed that. So it wasn't like a special occasion. It was a repetition of something. And he just let people know that, hey, if you have problems with people that are different from you, then this is not the spot for you. You need to go somewhere else. Yeah. I thought that was over the top courageous. 2 years ago, back in September of 2018, Carol got sick and ended up in ICU here at the hospital. It took him a little while to find out what was actually wrong with her, which she had a perforation of her intestine. They got down and they actually took her down and x-rayed and everything. And so we were really happy. I was happy that they found out what was wrong with her because, she had been going through this for a while, like days. The doctor told me, well, it'll take maybe about a couple of hours or so. So I'm thinking, okay, man, this is good. It's going to be great. And anyway, so when he came down to talk to me, he had a little serious face on him. And he said that before that they were able to operate on Carol, that her heart had stopped for 5 or 10 minutes. And I'm thinking, oh man, so I was really concerned about what the next sentence he was going to say. But he said, when we got her back, but really, her heart's weak, and do you want us to revive her if that happens again? I mean, it was just kind of like boom, boom, boom. And so it's kind of like, well, yes, keep on reviving her. So he was trying to explain to me, how that was going to work, and that since she had lost oxygen to the brain for 5 to 10 minutes, she wouldn't be the same. He still was trying to make a case for letting her go. And I just wasn't feeling that. So anyway, so I went up to the ICU, and one of the first things I after I saw Carol, the first things I thought about was what Pastor had said about, it doesn't matter what it looks like, it doesn't matter what your emotions are. And it didn't look good, I can tell you that, because the only thing that was working on her was actually the heart that had failed. She was on a respirator, all her organs had actually shut down, so she was on life support. So I'm thinking about that, and I'm saying, okay, but Richard, you're going to have to decide on what you believe. Do you believe that healing is yours? Do you believe in the scriptures in the Bible that talk about healing? Do you believe in the fervent prayers of a righteous man availeth much? Do you remember? Do you understand all of that? And do you believe that? That I had to decide on all these things that I had amened in church and raised my hands about and stuff like that. It's kind of like, okay, man, do you really believe that? Because if you do, then you already got the path to run on. And I decided at that point in my spirit that yes, I do. I do believe that, and that I wasn't going to back off on that. They sent the chaplain to me a number of different times because, the expectation of, somebody being over 70, actually dying for 5 or 10 minutes, your organs all shut down, the likelihood for success of coming back from all of that was pretty slim. But I paid no attention to that. Thank goodness that pastors checked on me. They came and visited us in the hospital a number of times, which, Carol was still in that coma for 10 days before she woke up. But, I had to decide on, can God be the God that, we prayed to, we talked about, that in scriptures about healing, was that the God that I knew? And, to the testament of, God's grace and mercy, my wife is here today, But even as we've kind of moved through this now with Carol being on dialysis for 4 days a week, and we're doing dialysis at home, and it doesn't always go smooth, but I remember that it doesn't matter what it looks like. It doesn't matter what my emotions are telling me, and I wish I could tell you that it doesn't get the best of me, but I would be less than truthful. But each day I understand that it doesn't matter what it looks like. It doesn't matter what my emotions are bringing to the table, that God is still, he still has us. He has me, he has Carol, he has us. So that one statement, a number of different times that I was able to actually internalize. And so with that, has been a tremendous help, not only in that situation with Carol, but going forward with other portions of my life. It doesn't matter what it looks like. It doesn't matter what my emotions are telling me, that God has this. And he has me, he has the situation, and so I just need to put myself in that vein.
Even though I was the miracle, because they did not expect me to live or be able to function. You know, she may not be able to walk, she may not be able to talk, well, am able to do everything. So even though I was the miracle, Richard experienced it probably more than I did because I wasn't awake during a lot of it. So God was with both of us, and a lot of that I'm sure would have turned out very differently had we not been attending this church prior to when it happened. I don't know how many times they came to the hospital because I wasn't always there, but I do know that they came twice that I recall. And then every month, either Pastor or Miss Stephanie calls to check on us to see how we're doing. That's the first time, and I've been sick once before at another church, and nobody ever called. But not only do the pastors call, the people call. Do you need anything? Can we help you with anything? I just can't explain to you how that makes you feel loved, and that this is my family. It's not just my church family, this is my family. I just feel like if I need something, I can call anybody in the church or in this room or whatever and say, can you please come help me? And before I can hang up, I'm sure they'd be there, you know. So being in this place and getting the word like we get it is a godsend. It's a godsend. I am so glad to be here and have the pastors that we have.
I'm Richard Glasgow.